Hi, I'm Nick Shell, and I assume you're watching this video because you've seen me perform my newest song that I just recorded minutes ago called Look No Further. So I make these videos to accompany anytime I release a new song on my YouTube channel to explain what motivated me to write it, because I am not someone who can just write some random song with abstract lyrics. I've tried and it never works. So I guess I stopped trying a while back. So this is a song called Look No Further. And actually just a couple of weeks ago I had recorded the song that's kind of the prequel, because this song, Look No Further, was actually meant to be the bridge of the song Just Keep Living. So if you've heard me do that song recently, this was the bridge. But I felt it was too strong of a bridge to just be a bridge. So I realized I need to finish the song Just Keep Living without a bridge, and instead make this its own song, and it came together so easily. Now I will say, if you're familiar with writing songs and playing guitar, this uses the 4 universal chords that you would expect in a song. I try not to make that obvious when I write songs, and I try to avoid it, but it just fell in place. So the premise of this song is that, and my wife and I have been talking about this a lot here recently, that we are not millionaires and we're not famous. I think of all the people who are, whether they're musicians or they're actors or whoever they are, they're rich and famous. They have anything they could possibly imagine, and yet they're still not happy. I mean, we can easily think of people who would be in that situation. And at my point in life, and even this past year, I realized it wouldn't matter if I had more money. It wouldn't matter if I was world famous. It wouldn't change anything. It wouldn't change me realizing I can't be happier than I already am. I can't be more grateful than I already am. So there are people who have more than they could ever imagine as far as money or fame or the idea of success, and yet they can't be satiated. They can't be satisfied. Meanwhile, I'm at a place where I can be, and I can recognize that on top of that. That is this song. And I feel like so many people never get to where I am because they're trying too hard to obtain something that doesn't actually exist, because they don't even understand what that is. So here are the lyrics. Wanting is bliss. It's feeding a fantasy. Now, I love that. And apparently that was somewhat inspired by some Buddhist principle I saw in a comment section of a video. And I did a screen save of the comment section, and I thought, that's going to make a song pretty easily. So I do love that, and I acknowledge that apparently that is coming off some kind of Confucius quote of Buddhist way of thinking. But I love it, and I think there's a lot of truth in it. Wanting is bliss. So just taking that into perspective, I think about when I was a kid and I wanted a certain toy or whatever. Like that, there was so much joy, whatever we were going to use, happiness, whatever. The idea of when I have that, life is going to be great when I have that thing. So wanting is bliss. That is almost the highest level. It's feeding a fantasy. That's what wanting is. So feeding this fantasy is very enjoyable, I guess, within itself. So knowing this, needing is suffering. So to want something, I can be happy about, that's a dream, that's a fantasy, but now I need it. I'm suffering because I don't have it. I love that idea. So that's the first 2 lines of the song. Then I go on to say, so much in life is simply meaningless. And I'm not trying to be super stoic about, life is pointless. Not at all. I'm saying so many of the things that we're told that matter in life don't matter. They're a complete distraction. Like I said, even a person's concept of what it means to be successful, as far as if that means being a millionaire or being super famous, like that's meaningless to me. Watching the news, that's meaningless. Getting caught up in who wins a football game or who wins the election, meaningless. We place value on what has worth to us. That's the next line. Here's the chorus. And this was ultimately the bridge of the other song, Just Keep Living. I can't think of anything I want. And that is true. It's funny because even like when it's time for, like my wife and I are like, Chris, what do you want? What do you want for your birthday? Like, well, to go on a trip, I guess, but like, there's nothing I need that I don't already have. Like, there's nothing, I can't think of anything I want. I can't think of anything I need. I can't think of anything that would make my life complete that I don't have already here in front of me. And then the name of the song is Look No Further. So to be at a point in your life when you realize you have everything right in front of you, why look any further? Because that's ultimately just going to lead to suffering. That's to think that you need something that you don't already have, that would be suffering. So look no further. That's the title of the song. And then the second verse, I'll be happy when ... fill in the blank. So that saying, that mindset, I'll be happy when, it is playing with fire. And I say the good life sells. There's always a buyer. Enough is enough. And I don't mean that in a way that enough is enough. No, I mean like literally, when you have enough, that is enough. Look no further. I say the title of the song again. The good life sells. There's always a server. So you can see what I've done there is that this concept, and maybe the main point of the song being that the good life, or the American dream, whatever you want to call it, is seen as this thing that you can obtain if you work hard enough, if you can afford it, whatever the thing is. That is always selling and people are always buying. Or you could get to a point in your life when you realize, I'm already there. Now, to be fair, I do want to say this. Where I am in life now is not where I was a year ago. It's not where I was 10 years ago. I'm 43. It's taken me this long in my life, about halfway point, of getting to realize, to where I can recognize and realize this and to actually be here. And granted, I will say, I had to get through college. I had to figure out what I'm going to do with my life. Then I had to be in a career for well over a decade before I could get well established in knowing what am I good at? You know, how can I make a living? Like finding identity in work in a good way, but not making that its own idol. Like getting confident identity throughout my work. You know, I've been married to my wife 16 years. Us having 2 kids together. Us overcoming challenges together. And being happy that we found each other and be grateful for our family and all that we have. And my wife and I talk about this. Having our faith in God, having our hope in God, going to church and being connected with other people who believe like we do. That is the good life. And yes, you do have to work and earn it to a certain degree, but at a certain point you have to realize enough is enough. And there's no reason to look any further. In fact, trying to get more of that would actually make you less happy. And there are reports on this. This years ago helped me probably get to this point too, is there's a certain salary you can make a year, and after that you can't get happier. You actually get like depressed, or like you feel incomplete if you still keep trying to make more money than beyond that certain point. And so I think that's interesting too. But it's not just your salary amount though. I think that you can get to a point where you have everything you need and want, but you have to be able to recognize it. And so many people keep trying harder beyond that point. I'm not going to do that. That's what the song is about. I'd love for you to check it out. I'm leaving a link in the comments so you can click on the song and hear it. And of course, I would love to hear from you in the comments as well, right there.